Welcome back to the Game Addicts Podcast, the show where we talk about the modern and retro video games that we play and collect. I am your player one, Brando, and joining me here today is this podcast player two, Mike.
Hello.
How's it going, sir?
It is going well.
It is going pretty well here as well. We got a lot to talk about today, including something we forgot to talk about last week. In fact, it was like the episode was already edited and uploaded. I went, done. Shit. We promised that we were going to discuss the pros and cons of the 3DS and the PS Vita on the week before that episode. We're going to put a poll up, and we're going to do it. I forgot.
But it is okay, because things have transpired that will make it
Sure, yes. Okay,
better.
So I posted the poll on our Twitter, just like I did the week before. And we had some votes, and we had some engagement. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much. This time, we had some engagement, some likes, and some shares. There were some retweets, but no votes. It's kind of hard to have a poll with no votes.
Right.
So I turned to a group that I'm in a group that I encourage each and every one of you to go join on Facebook, the Metal Jesus Rocks video game group, because they talk about video games, and they also talk about music, stuff that you collect. But within that, anything that would go on Metal Jesus Rocks channel, fair game in there. And then, it's a great group, a bunch of guys in there who are really big collectors, whether that's Metal Jesus himself in there, or Reggie, or John Riggs, a bunch of guys in there. And then, of course, just the community themselves. And this poll got a crazy amount of votes and a lot of comments. And so to sort of make up for last week's complete blunder on my part, I just got so excited about some of the new stuff to talk about that I completely forgot. So we're going to do something. We're going to try something new this week. We're going to do a new segment, and it's going to be called The Gamer's Court. And we're going to probably do that towards the end of the show. That's going to be the last thing. It's going to be something fun. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. We're going to try and give you some info and be entertaining at the same time. And, of course, we got other stuff we're going to talk about, too. We're going to talk about some news and some new things we got going on in our lives. Just a quick update. I guess we're buying a house soon, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I sort of gathered
I'm
from
kind
what
of
was
getting
told.
not told, but yeah, we need to act on this now. And I'm just like, okay,
Right.
Pretty much, it's like when it's like getting pushed out the door, and like in a way. So it's very nerve-wracking for me because it's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
It's a big hassle and just a big headache. I don't want to relive the hassle and headache and everything of buying the house thing again, but it's happening. We are not buying the house yet. We are currently just looking.
Right.
We actually have found the place that we both like that's actually, in a way, slightly smaller than what we already have, but we have more bedrooms. And we have more space. It's weird. We have like maybe 100 less square foot of living space in the house. But it has a formal dining room. And that formal dining room could be converted into a game room / office.
Right.
And me and her have talked about maybe sharing that space. And then whoever's in there can go do something else in the other room.
Right.
So if she's using it for her office stuff, or if I'm in there gaming or streaming. That's another thing we've talked about, having the office space as a dedicated office / stream desk. So then me having my TV up, my games up in there. And then, of course, there's like 3 bedrooms in there on top of that.
Right.
So maybe those bedrooms won't be as big as the ones we have now.
Right.
But, in a way, I'm kind of minimalist when that comes to that kind of shit. My bedroom's where I sleep.
Right.
I don't spend a lot of time in my bedroom watching TV or even playing games anymore.
You see our bedroom.
I've actually never been inside your bedroom.
Really?
I've poked my head in.
Huh. Well, ours...
I've always been fearful
Oh, yes.
Of-
Understood.
of certain things that maybe might be left out on a side table.
Yeah.
I'm an adult. Okay, I'm not as scared of that stuff.
But
Man, I'm just getting blown up on my phone. Shut up, guys. I'm just saying, man. Hey, we're all adults here. Things go on in bedrooms, right? Things. All right. Okay.
Guess who's getting no notifications from that group?
You.
I don't have it. I'm not in that group, so.
Well, yeah. All right. And my wife texted me to say that my son's eating barbecue, which is actually kind of a big deal because he's a picky eater. Anyway, I go back to what I was saying. I'm just saying, hey, I wouldn't want any of you guys to come into my bedroom and see stuff that got left out because you go. Everybody does that kind of thing. You're like, shouldn't be here, dude.
Right.
Because stuff is private, right?
Right.
Stuff is private. So I poked my head in a couple times, and I'm like, I think the coast is clear, but that's y'all's space. For me, in my house, our room is our space.
Right.
We don't really invite people in very often. Kate's like, come on in. And I'm like, get out of here. This is where I bungle up. This is where I dig my hole and sleep.
Right.
That's my safe zone. Get out of my goddamn bedroom. So anyway, we're looking at this place. It's not that expensive, and it's got a it's a weird okay, so the layout of the house is better, but it's weird is that it has a basement with access from the outside only.
It's not weird.
So because you could use it for storage.
Right.
It's got a decent little backyard fenced in, with a spot where you can do like a fire pit.
Oh, yeah.
And it's actually for here in town, it's off of 5th Street, down there by Kasuth. So it's down there by the school down there. And it's like 10 minutes away from work. If you take
which school?
I don't know which one it is. I didn't look. I just know it's like right down the road from one, around the block. If you take Veterans Memorial,
yeah,
and keep going, and where I always turn on 9th Street to go downtown.
Yeah.
If you keep going to 5th and take a
right.
right, and you'll go until you get to like Kasuth, and then it's around that.
Oh, I know where that's at then.
Yeah, it's like not too far. We both like it. Well, now the next part
it's
is
not far from Jeff.
Sure, but then it's like it's also not far from downtown. It's not far away from good food. Not far away from good work. Not far away from good shops that I like to go to. It's not too.
You'll
far.
be real close to. You'll only be about 7 minutes away from that one place that we go to that we don't go to anymore.
Mm-hmm. It's also about maybe 5 or 7 minutes away from DT Kirby's that has yummy food.
Yeah.
It also has a good, that vinyl shop that I go to, and also Friends. And I don't know. I mean, it's going to happen. We're moving back in town.
Right.
Is it going to happen today or tomorrow? No. Once we figure out what we can sell our house for, how much we'll get for it, based on how much we currently owe, that's what's going to decide when and where and how we can move.
Right.
So, meanwhile, that's what's going on in my world. You are planning on doing something with some retro gaming because you actually have systems that you can't play on your TV because your TV's a douchebag.
Yes. So I could get a converter. I just don't want to because this is granted, I like collecting. I like having the physical game. I like using it on the original hardware. But this way would make it much easier for us to stream. And with Nintendo doing their crap, I've always wanted to do it. And I am getting fearful that with this Nintendo thing going over,
that we talked about last week,
that they're going to take everything down. And I want to get my RetroPie done. So in March they released the Raspberry Pi 3 B+.
Sure.
It's not a big step up, but it's $50 for the actual thing, for the computer. But you buy a kit, has OS on it, noobs, whatever it is that they do. And then I'm also, so that's $70. It comes with a 16 gig with the OS on it, which basically what I'm going to do is pop my 200 in, copy file over, done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to jack with any of that crap because I want to have a large space. So what I plan on doing with this is that every system that can go on it, I'm getting. And then I'm getting every English version of every game that I can. So a lot of that is a deterrent from buying retro. There's a lot of games that I really want that are hundreds of dollars that I will not spend.
Well,
and this will solve that.
Thankfully for me, I've reached a point in my video game collecting that most of what I want is too expensive.
Right.
And then I can't convince myself to buy it. Like an Earthbound. I'm not paying $130 or $150 for a card of Earthbound. Not going to do it. Just not going to happen. Especially not when I have a version of it in a repro on my Game Boy Advance. It's not perfect, though.
Right.
I tried playing it, and apparently the Mother 1 and 2 combo cart, Mother 1's great in translation, and Mother 2 is not complete. Translation. There's going to be some stuff on there that you don't know what the heck is going on that screen as far as words go.
That's why I'm really excited to do that because the ones that I'm wanting to download, they have been professionally edited and made sure that everything is up to like Star Fox 2. We weren't going to get we never got that. And we got it on
the classic.
The classic, but
so
I don't want to spend $80 when I can spend $80 and have everything that I want.
So from what I understand, the reason why this Mother 2 is not just a Earthbound one, which you could easily probably have done, and that's because they were trying to do a more legit Mother translation, and just either it didn't get done or whatever before it went to whatever production they did, because they edited a lot of stuff out.
Right.
Of Earthbound to make it more appropriate for kids. And Nintendo was really weird back then. They wouldn't allow crosses in their games, like visually.
Right.
Like you could go into a bar in there, and you're playing as like a group of kids, and so they had to rename it a juice bar.
Right.
You know, certain things.
But this is something that I've wanted to do a long time, and I plan on doing it. And also, when we start streaming, this is a plug and play.
Sure.
It's HDMI, which is big now, and I mean I don't have, so mine will do retro consoles, but it will not do analog.
Right.
So
which is weird to me.
Right, because I've tried to put the Super, the Sega, and the another one that I have, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but they will not work at all. So everything, basically first gen for almost everything, and second gen for some of the other ones.
So the only way to really do that without having to do the RetroPie would be to get a analog to HDMI converter.
Yep.
Which, if you're paying that much for that anyway, you might as well just get the RetroPie.
Right, and I will literally have every game that I've ever wanted. So we could sit here and go, today we're going to stream, I don't know, let's just pick a game. And we'll have tens of thousands of games to go through. And it'll be like, so this one's quirky and stupid. Let's just do this. And be like reaction to this game that neither one of us have ever seen or touched. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
And also they have with this RetroPie, you can get the 8-bit DOS Super Nintendo controller.
Yeah.
I love it. It looks exactly like a Super. From what I've read, everybody says it feels just like a Super Nintendo. Like you hold it. It has a little bit more weight to it, obviously, because it has a battery, and it has 20 hours of life. That's huge.
Exactly.
But the fact that it feels the same, and being wireless, that's a big deal for me, because you're not constricted to the 6 feet, and I do not sit 6 feet. I sit like 8-10 feet away from my TV because I have a larger TV.
Yeah, and you can use those on like the Switch. You can hook up those Bluetooth and use it on the Switch. Personally,
I'm not going to use it on the Switch. I'm going to use it on that specifically because it's going to have everything on it.
Sure.
And then for my PlayStation games, I'm going to just use PS3 controller.
Yeah.
Because it's Bluetooth and,
Yeah, and it's pretty much a PlayStation controller.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly the same for the regular PlayStation, and then you have the 2 analog sticks, but I play most of my other games on the PS3. So
Right. And see, that's okay. So
or the Vita.
as I've said last week, I'm doing something with my Amazon Fire Stick.
Yes.
And I've started doing that. I haven't got my component in yet that I can plug in my USB drive into.
Yeah, because it took them 2 months to send it to you.
Well, I mean, it's still taking time. It's either going to arrive by the 4th, which is Saturday, I think, or somewhere between there and September.
Right.
So all month. We'll see. But apparently the Fire Stick will do NES, SNES, Genesis. I've heard it can do CD, Sega CD, and 32X. We'll see. I'm gonna try it out. And Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game Gear, and PS1. Oh, and TurboGrafx 16 and PC Engine. So it'll do those. And PS1 apparently it does really good. But N64, N64 is a very unique architecture in how they did their crap. That's about as layman's as that's going to get with me as far as telling you why it doesn't work. They did a lot of stuff with their anti-aliasing and image processing. That's weird.
I'm wondering, and I haven't researched this enough, but I wonder if on the RetroPie you can do 64.
I know emulators are finicky, and I know they've gotten into work on PCs.
Right.
But I don't know.
But I know that the 64 emulation in general is just super finicky, and it's something that, like, I like the 64, don't get me wrong, but a lot of the games that I want, I now have on DS or 3DS.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only a handful of games that I cared to own from that.
Yeah.
The only one that I'm really upset about is I don't have GoldenEye, but that's only because it's GoldenEye.
Right.
Like, the game now has not aged well at all.
It has not.
But that game changed a lot of console shooters. I mean, it changed all of it.
Well, because that was the first big shooter multiplayer experience on a console.
Yes.
You had some of that going on PC, but it was different.
I mean, Doom pretty much created first person. I mean, they did.
But then GoldenEye kind of revolutionized it for consoles.
For consoles, exactly. So it was, and then you had the game following that, which was Perfect Dark. Mm-hmm. Perfect Dark to me is a more superior game. Sure. I love Perfect Dark. I played the crap out of it.
I mean, it is its successor in every way.
But it still looks like crap.
Sure. I mean, yes, it does. And you actually could. Well, no, you can't because you don't have an Xbox One.
No.
Because you can, because the original Perfect Dark is on the retro or rare replay, which is awesome that they put that on there. Perfect Dark or Perfect Dark Zero are on there. Banjo-Kazooie 1, 2, and Nuts and Bolts are on there. That's a great collection.
It is
to get.
I did like Banjo-Kazooie. It was fun.
And then of course Conker's Bad Fur Day.
That's $60. So that alone, if you wanted to play that game, that alone pays for itself because it's only $40 for rare replay.
Right. Well, actually, it's a lot cheaper for rare replay. It's like $10 to $15 for rare replay.
Brand new. I'm talking about brand new.
Well, brand new. I actually bought mine on Black Friday for $15. I got that and Gears for $30.
I remember.
I think you were there, weren't you?
I was there.
You bought the Jabba the Hutt pop.
Yep.
Because we were all like, yeah, I'll buy it.
And I was like, we don't have money, but I don't think I'm ever going to find it anywhere. It ended up, when we turned in our pops, it ended up getting us quite a bit of money. It was $50, $56.
Yeah, it paid for itself.
Right.
So, I'm doing that, but I'm not going to end up doing the PS1 because I don't need to take up that much space. And I have if I want to play PS1 on my HD TV, I have my PS3.
And once I get this pie going, you can sit back because
keep talking about pie and making me hungry.
I know, but once we get this going, and if you like it, guess what? I'll have everything already done. So it'll be SD card, transfer everything over. The pie, I will have an extra case because I am buying the Super Nintendo case for for two reasons. One, it has more space and a fan. That's a big deal because if I'm going to game on that, usually like if I start Link to the Past, I usually play it for 4 or 5 hours. Super Mario RPG. It's hard to get away from that game.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm really mad that my version of the original, I can't play it anymore now, but the battery died. And I was at the last area. Anywho, but once we have it all going, it has the the power on and off.
Yeah, the little
So the
switch.
other ones you just had to plug in and unplug it. It didn't have a power. This has the power supply, has a reset in the power, just like a Super Nintendo. So that's a big deal to me because the other ones have it on the back or on the power supply.
Yeah.
So you flip a switch, but when you buy a kit, it doesn't come with that unless you buy the more expensive kit. I don't need that. But I would rather have a flip on and off because I want it to be on top. I want it to look, and I want it to look a certain way. And
Right.
yeah, it's not just a Super Nintendo emulator, but essentially, in all truth, that's what I'm getting it for because I cannot play Super Mario RPG. I really want to finish that game. I had the itch to play Super Metroid again. After playing Octopath, like I really want to play some old Final Fantasies. I want to play them on the Super Nintendo. I want to finish Chrono Trigger. I have Chrono Trigger on other option, but these are things that I'm wanting to do. Zombies Ate My Neighbors is a big game for me. I really love that game, and I think that me and Joanna and me and you could sit down and play this. I love that. I played so much of that game. It's just so much fun.
Sure.
And I have it on the Sega. On the Sega, everybody's like, yeah, it has the map. It is not the superior product because when I plugged it in, it sounded like extreme loud static because it's mono. Did not sound clear at all on my Sega. And I was like, oh, man, I just turned it off. Like I don't want to listen to this. It did not sound, because I grew up with the Super Nintendo version.
Yeah. It sounds different.
It sounds very different because Super Nintendo had the superior sound quality.
Sony.
Yeah,
Sony sound chip. So, you mentioned Chrono Trigger.
I did.
I started playing I Am Setsuna.
Yes.
Finally.
How you liking it?
It's Chrono Trigger.
Is it?
It is Chrono Trigger.
Wait till whenever you get time, maybe next shutdown, I want you to sit through and play a little bit of Sphere.
So like I'm not far into it at all, but it is very much gameplay. 100%. They said, let's make a game. All right. What system are we going to make something new? Kinda. Let's take Chrono Trigger as a base, and then we're going to move up.
Does it do the techies?
It does. It does the techs, and they're called techs. Yeah, they're called techs, straight up. And then you can actually get some medals from battling and use that to smith up or enhance your weapons.
Oh, I like that.
Stronger.
That's cool.
So like the weapons you already have, instead of buying a new weapon, you may just make it more powerful by finding medals and using those and to kind of augment your weapons. So I'm not very far into it, but quite literally, the game starts and you're a mercenary and you go and they kind of just teach you the game, and then you get a job from somebody, and then dude's like, I have a feeling that you'll accept my mission if I give it to you, and you have a choice of saying, oh really, or something like that. Like, I want you to go to this little island. You'll sail there. On this little island, there's this little town. And in this little town, there's this girl. And I want you to kill her.
Huh.
And apparently, her name is Setsuna. And she is up for some sort of sacrifice type deal. Because this place sacrifices people. And these women or ladies or young girls, they tend to go off, and they send them off and go, bye, I love you, and then they die.
Huh.
I don't know why yet.
Right.
We'll find out.
There's always a grand plan behind it.
Yeah, so I was going to play it the other day, got my Switch out, realized that I unplugged my Switch like a week ago to play it, and I haven't played it yet, so it was dead. So I had to plug it back in for a day, and then I started playing it, and then last night, I fell asleep. Couldn't play. Was too tired. So that's what I've been doing.
Oh, I've also been playing Octo.
Yeah.
As much as I can.
How'd you? Did you ever look up that video that I showed that I sent you?
I have not watched the.
Of course you haven't. You have not done so.
I know.
Well, I'll have to play it for you while we're tearing down. It's
Okay.
pretty cool.
KK.
In the meantime, finally, 25 minutes in, almost, we have the Game Addicts News and Views. we got a few news items, my friend.
Okay.
The most importantly, first up, PS4 sales hit $82.2 million, surpasses PS3 lifetime sales. Holy crap. With 5 years, less than 5 years.
Congratulations,
They have
Sony.
done so. PS Plus has 33.9 million subscribers with 40.6 million games shipped last quarter. And 43% of sales have been digital.
That's not good. That's not good at all.
It's growing, man. I'm telling you. One more generation we're going to get before they go all of it. We want all 100% digital sales. You're not going to be able to go to Walmart anymore to buy a game other than a digital code.
As long as, so I think I mentioned this before, but as long as they allow me to expand my memory, like we know it's coming. We're not stupid. It's just the market's kind of pushing that way. This is showing that at least almost 50% of those that own or have PS Plus or a PlayStation, 40% of those player base is purchasing digital games. So that gives them the market to say, okay, let's pull the optical drive out and put in more hard drive. At least give me the ability, if you're going to cut me out of optical drive, please allow me to expand my memory much higher than what you're giving us now, like a 1 terabyte. I want to be able to put like 8, 9, 10, because I have over there, if you look, and you know how many games I have probably roughly 20 PS4 games. If you equal those out to 4 gigs each, that doesn't fit. I actually had to wipe some of the stuff off of my terabyte hard drive to play new games that I'm picking up.
Yeah, we need to have some more memory, and of course, they do have the option for expandable external hard drives,
right?
Which do go up that high. They need to be.
I just with those, I get very, very iffy on. I've had them corrupt, and then you're starting again.
You've had the worst luck with almost every single thing you've ever bought.
Well, this one I had for a long time. I had I had 120 gigs of music on it.
And I know, but I mean, like, seriously, look in the last 3 years of just stuff that you buy, and it's like TVs, consoles, retro console, like your Retron 5, like hard, yeah, you just shouldn't buy stuff. Is what it is.
We had a hard drive go down, then we got struck by lightning. just give me a break, for God's sakes.
So PS4 have totaled 82.2 million, Sony announced during its quarterly earnings report. This puts Sony's current console ahead of the PS3, which ended up being around 80 million sold in its lifetime. In April 2018, Sony announced that PS4 had sold 79 million, which means that it has sold 3.2 billion consoles in the last quarter. Also, Sony has stated that it has 33.9 PS Plus subscribers, which is a slight dip compared to 34.2 it had as of March. And of course, that's the same kind of stuff going on there with what I said with the games shipping. Sales are expected to be significantly higher than the April forecast, primarily due to the higher than expected PS4 software sales, including the sales through the network, the impact of foreign exchange rates, as well as the expected increase in PS4 hardware unit sales. The forecast for operating income is expected to be significantly higher than the April forecast, primarily due to the impact of the above-mentioned increase in sales. The surge in sales would come no surprise, thanks to God of War selling exceptionally well.
Yes.
In fact, God of War reached 3.1 million sales in just 3 days of launch.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Holy crap. This makes it the fastest selling PS4 game so far. Keep in mind that Sony has used the word sold, not shipped, which in this case means that 3.1 million PS4 owners have bought the game in just 3 days. So not just them shipping out to stores, that's them actually
digital from all sales.
Yeah, all sales from God
I wonder
of
if
War.
that also includes God of War bundles like you got.
And it may be because I actually bought mine maybe a week after it came out, a week or two. I know that I want to say Tyler and either Blaine was already playing it, Tyler was waiting to play it, or started around the same time I did. When we first revealed God of War less than 2 years ago, we knew we had something truly special. Fans reacted with tremendous excitement to this bold reimagining of the franchise, and we were thrilled to explore the unique father-son dynamic between Kratos and Atreus. Fast forward to present day with the game's release, and we are humbled to see such positive reviews. That was from Assad Kizelbosh. I probably Kizelboshed his name. Vice President of Marketing, Sony Interactive Entertainment of America. So, like, that is, like, God of War, like, it's a big deal because here's an entry in a series that has, for all intents and purposes, sort of like didn't really need to be around anymore.
Right.
It kind of Assassin's Creed, it sort of Assassin's Creeded itself as far as like another entry, another game, another thing, more of the same. What that game was able to do is what I feel is what the Tomb Raider reboot did for Tomb Raider.
Right.
It completely reimagined the gameplay. It's still God of War at its core. Just like the Tomb Raider reboot is still Tomb Raider at its core.
Yes.
But it's a new game. And it's a continuation. It's not just a reboot. It's a continuation. And there's enough there from the past to just sprinkle it in here and there to go, oh, that. Because it's so far removed from that, too. You can completely play God of War without ever having touched the other games.
Yes.
And it works great.
Yeah.
Because then the little things that you're given, they're given weight by how they're presented to you. But then if you followed it all the way through and played all the games, it means that much more when he, spoiler alert, has to go get the chains.
Yes.
And has to wrap them back on. He doesn't want to.
But he has
He's
to.
pissed.
So, since we're talking about sales, as of yesterday, Nintendo announced 20 million consoles sold worldwide. 20 million Switches sold worldwide. With Mario Odyssey racking up 50% of Switch owners own Odyssey.
So
at
10.41
million units. And it just says units. It doesn't mean it could be digital or whatever. But
could be digital, physical, or like the one.
Right.
Yeah.
And Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, 9.2. I just wanted to name it because I was wondering while you were talking. I was like, I wonder what Nintendo's at.
Yeah.
Which has smashed what they thought that they were going to do. Their goal was 14 million sales by March 31st. By March 31st, they reported 17.79, but now they're at 20 million. So, not to smash on PlayStation a little bit, but it's pretty cool. A new console like that blowing up.
It is. It's awesome. And
we both love our Switches. Everybody really likes them.
I love my Switch. You love your Switch. I mean, right now, there is... What?
It whistled.
Oh, I thought you were pointing.
No.
Right now is a great time. Truly, there is a reason to own all three consoles.
I still say only two.
There is a reason to own an Xbox One. There really is. And that is for Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
And number two, their awesome backwards compatibility initiative.
Yes.
Because of how they're doing it. You put that game disc in, that game is yours.
Yep.
As long as you have that disc is your DRM.
Yep.
Why PlayStation isn't doing that? Right now, I should be able to go. PS1 Classics. I bought my PS1 Classic on the PS3. It played on the PSP. It played on the PS Vita. It plays on my PS TV. It does not play on the PS4. Why? There's no reason for it. It'll work. We know it can do it. We know it can emulate a PS1. Why not do the PS1 Classics?
Yeah, why I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
So, number one, there's that. Number two, if I have FF7, Final Fantasy 7, PS1, I have my copy. I put my disc in that system. You know what should happen? Bloop, bloop. Final Fantasy 7, PS1 Classic downloading.
Should.
It should. And then to just future DRM this, when you get to the part where you have to switch a disc to, like on your PS1 Classic, where you have to go in your menu and select disc 2, you have to put in disc 2. You have to own the game. You have to not just get one disc and be good. You have to have all 3 discs.
I love the fact, like on the Vita, it always says, "Please enter the new disc," and I'm always like, "Why are you doing this?" And then it hits me. It's like, you know what? I ain't even mad. I'm not mad at all because I get to switch it over.
So, no, there is a reason to own an Xbox One. It does have some really great exclusives, even if you can get them on a PC. Not everybody has a big gaming PC compatible to run those kind of games at the kind of rate that would look good. But from a console standpoint, especially to go pick up an Xbox One S for $200.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the price.
The price point, good games, third party, backwards compat. PS4, first party. PS Plus, free games. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're eh.
Right.
Okay. But then also for PlayStation is also third party. That's where a lot of people play. So, and then the Switch. There's a reason to own Switch as well. So I think and I know I've said this before, it's a great time to be a gamer.
It is.
Because no matter where you're at and where you're playing, there's something to do, some great games to play. And speaking of great games to play, I now have the list of Sony's PS Plus games for March. March. I'm sorry. Why did I say March? Wow. August.
I was like,
I wish it was March. It'd be a lot nicer out there.
Well, not really. Our March was still cold.
It was. If we could get like a more spring March, that'd be nice.
I don't know. We've got a spring summer. I'm not complaining at all.
No, but it got hot today.
It got hot today, but it didn't get 90 or 100 like it normally does.
All right. So, PS4 free games for August. Mafia 3. Dead by Daylight Special Edition. So Mafia 3 is a pretty big title to get. Of course, that came out a few years back. And it's a big open world, kind of like a GTA type game. But then Dead by Daylight is actually a online game where Dead by Daylight is a multiplayer 4 versus 1 horror game where one player takes on the role of a savage killer, kind of like maybe Friday the 13th. And the other 4 players play as the survivors trying to escape the killer to avoid being caught and tortured and killed. Sounds lovely. Survivors play in third-person mode and have the advantage of better situational awareness. The killer plays in first-person mode and is more focused on their prey. The survivor's goal in each encounter is to escape the killing ground without getting caught by the killer, something that sounds easier than what it is, especially when the environment changes every time you play. So those are the 2 games for PS4. Just to throw in here, PS3 is Bound by Flame and Serious Sam 3 BFE edition. And then PS Vita is Draw Slasher and Space Hulk. And apparently PSVR and PlayLink have Here They Lie and Knowledge is Power. So Mafia 3 is a pretty big game to get. That's a game kind of like Mad Max to me, where like I didn't buy it, but I'll definitely download it and check it out and see what I think about it.
Yeah, you can't argue free.
Well, no, not at all. And see, the same thing sort of happened to me with Sleeping Dogs. I was like totally not interested in Sleeping Dogs whatsoever. And then I got it for free, and I played it and liked it so much that I bought a PS4 copy because it's just a fun game.
Right.
You cannot complain about that. We have one more big news item.
You're not going to do gold?
Gold? I didn't see gold up yet.
Fair enough.
That has like a few days to be released because I think both of them update on Monday or on Tuesdays. I think.
I'm not sure.
But once we find out, which will probably be next week's episode, we'll definitely look at the Xbox one and then compare them like we usually do. GameStop
has sold.
No.
Damn.
Confirms Power Up Elite Pro membership shutdown, which of course by the time you're hearing this,
it's already gone.
It's already gone. GameStop has confirmed that its Elite Pro membership program is gone and is no longer accepting new subscribers or resubscriptions as of August 1st, which is today as we record this. and encouraged anyone interested in a membership to do it before the 1st. This top-tier model let consumers enjoy an extra bonus on their trade-ins, boasting a whopping 20% bonus to all games and accessories brought to the store. They're also basically you also got an extra. You got 20 points for every $1 spent. You got 10% off pre-owned games and accessories. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I thought this was the Elite thing. Okay, so after the Elite Pro membership expires, we welcome you to renew as Power Up Pro. So I was reading you the Pro little things, not the Elite Pro. Here's what the Elite Pro perks gave you. My bad. The Elite Pro perks gave you 30 points for every $1, a birthday offer, a buy two get one pre-owned on pre-owned games welcome offer. Like when you signed up, you got that
Right.
buy two get one, no matter what it was. 20% off pre-gamed games and accessories. 20% extra trade-in on games and accessories and tech. 12 issues of Game Informer. Exclusive Pro Day sales with over $4,000 in annual savings. Collectibles welcome offer. 2-day free shippings on orders over $35.
Yeah, that's not a whole lot.
Basically, what they're saying is not GameStop, but what analysts are saying is that this was ending more than likely due to the fact that Best Buy just ended their Gamers Club Unlocked program, which sucks because Gamers Club Unlocked was actually a better deal than Amazon. If you paid for it, you got like 2 years for like $30. And it got you the same kind of perks as Amazon.
Right.
And you could also stack the percentage. Like with Amazon, you get like, what is it, like 20% off? Or
20% off pre-orders.
20% off pre-orders. You could actually stack that 20% off on any brand new game, even if they were on clearance. So that was awesome with Gamers Club because you could literally go in there, wait until certain games were like, I know this guy on YouTube, he did that with his Wii U games. He was collecting a complete U.S. Wii U library. And he went in there, waited until these games that nobody wanted were on clearance. Gamers Club Unlocked. You end up walking away with them for $13 a piece instead of $25, $30.
It's a good deal.
So they were already marked down. He got them marked down even more. He got even better deals than that. So that is, in fact, coming to an end. And it is already over if you're listening to this. So I never had it. And I'll be honest with you, I had no idea it even existed until like
the Best Buy.
No, the GameStop Elite Pro.
Oh, they ask me every time I go in there.
I have been in there. Like
you heard? Didn't you hear him ask me if I wanted to upgrade to Elite with when I got my Pro controller?
That is when I first heard about it.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's the very first time that I first heard about it. Oh, here is it's a headline. I don't know if I'm going to read it, but Nintendo's online service for Switch may not. Sorry, as I clicked on something on accident. It may not affect Fortnite and other free-to-play games.
Huh.
So you may still be able to play Fortnite without having to subscribe to it.
I mean, really, when you think about $20 a year,
No. I mean, trust me.
That's worth it. Period. I mean, depending on what they're going to officially offer, I think that they'll do Nintendo exclusive online stuff. You'll have to have it. My thing is are you going to let chat work?
Well, for Fortnite, I think they have they have in-game chat.
They have in-game chat
Where like you don't even need to use the app. You can just use a headset.
Right. That's my thing is are we going to do that with Nintendo licensed things? Because with Mario Kart 8, you can't do that.
No.
And I played it online for a while, and I enjoyed it a lot, but you can't say anything like it has all presets. Yeah, that's good because, Nintendo is more kid-oriented, but let's be honest here. most of us that buy the Switch, we're all old gamers that love Nintendo.
So apparently, last news thing before we move on. The new Spyro the Dragon Reignited trilogy, that comes out in September. It's the remastered Spyro games, which you will not be playing because you have such bad motion sickness.
Yes, well, as long as I have full control over it, I'm okay. But with the original Spyro, when I loved it, I liked playing it until I got too close to the building and it flung me out and it was moving my screen around. I was like,
That's funny because
it's funny to watch me do the VR.
I watched a review on Resident Evil Dark Side Chronicles.
Yeah.
Which is the second of the light gun shooters on the Wii, and that is Resident Evil 2. You have it? Mm-hmm. Have you tried playing it? Mm-hmm. Do you get motion sickness with that?
Not nearly as bad as I do with other things.
Okay, because on that one they actually try to do like this action camera where they move the camera and shake it around to make it harder. And when I was watching this review on her like the other day, I'm like, oh, poor Mike.
It's rough, but you know what really got me?
Huh.
When I bought a Wii when I was deployed, I had it all shipped to me and all the games that I wanted. When I played Metroid on there, I about puked. I actually had to stop, and I was like, "Oh, this is not good," because I wasn't very good with. It hadn't clicked in my head like the Wiimote, That's so I was still like moving around, and I'd rest it on my leg, and I'd relax my hand because I wasn't shooting anything, and it just starts spinning in circles. I was like, oh, easy killer. But now that I'm older, like I have the
whole trilogy,
the trilogy for the Prime series, and I can sit down and I have it down in my head what I need to do. Like I mount it, and of course I played dang it, Legend of Zelda. Skyward Sword, and it's all good. But at first,
all right, Spyro is what started this tangent on how bad.
Yes.
So Spyro the Dragon Reignited trilogy shows that the game will allow you to play all three adventures, but you'll actually need to download Spyro 2 and Spyro 3. Jeez. Apparently, they're not even on the disc. Only the first game is.
It's becoming it's a thing now. Let me see. What I do?
Then that's on Xbox One, PS4, the whole Switch thing. As I smacked the microphone, I've been coming to expect it.
Yeah. Right.
If it's like there's a reason why. There's two reasons why I didn't get the Mega Man thing, is because of the D-pad. And because of that, I didn't want to download the second one. This is the reason why I'm like, ooh, I can buy both Revelations. Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2. Oh, 2's a download. Not going to happen. Yeah. No, I'm not doing it. Not going to do it. I said, not going to do it.
Not going to do it.
So, no. Man, that sucks. It really does. There's nothing that irks me more than buying a game. Here's your game on a disc. You put it in, and there's so much stuff on there that you have to download on top of it.
Yeah.
Just think about how big the download would be right now. This is after updates. This is after multitude of massive updates to the Xbox One Master Chief Halo collection.
Oh, my goodness.
It had a day one patch of 20-something gigabytes. You had to download that to even play the game.
And it still was broken.
It was so broken. They were really ambitious. I applaud them for trying. But they failed so hard trying to make to where it was like all these games were like, it was like one big multiplayer experience with maps from everything and everywhere. That's a great idea.
That would be awesome.
And it didn't work. And to be fair, I don't know if it does. From what I understand, it is 10 times better than what it was when it launched. Does anybody care?
At this point, not really.
Because you know what people are doing? They're getting their own servers set up to do Halo 2 on the original Xbox.
Yep. That's my favorite, my multiplayer in that era. We played when I was deployed. When we were back on base, we had spider webs set up outside our tents, and we had stuff set up to where that's all we did. It was everybody was back. We'd be like, "Hey, let's do it," and we'd all just hop on, and it was like me and my friend. We had my TV, and he would play with me, and then like all around the tent, there was 8 of us, and 5 or 6 different LAN parties going on with this, and we had like tournaments and stuff because it was so fun. I like the Halo collection. I thought it was really cool, but then when they're like, "Yeah, this is broken as fuck," like you can't even do anything on multiplayer at all without it just shutting down the server, shutting you off. It's like, it's a great concept. Come on, guys.
Yeah. So, it's time. What has brought us to the dance, my friend? It is time for our very first rendition of the Gamers Court. Today's case will be the Nintendo 3DS versus the PS Vita. Entering the courtroom first, the Nintendo 3DS, launching in 2011. It features a dual screen layout. It features 128 megabytes of RAM with 6 megabytes of VRAM. It claims that its 3D technology is not just a gimmick. In fact, is the premier way to do handheld gaming. Entering the courtroom next is the PS Vita. The PS Vita launched in North America 2012. It features 512 megabytes of RAM with 128 megabytes of VRAM. It claims that its rear touchpad is not just but a gimmick and not only used for one game like Tearaway. Please all rise for the all honorable Judge Norris.
You may be seated.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're here today to discuss the pros and cons of the Nintendo 3DS and the PS Vita. An argument that has been had for the ages, for many years among gamers. And when there's an argument such as this, there's only one place to have this argument settled, and that is the Gamers Court.
3DS, you may present your case.
3DS, if you will please take the stand. Yeah, man, yeah, all right. All right, now get this here. I came out 2011, but way before this guy ever did. I have a rich lineage dating all the way back to 1989. All right? My great-great-grandfather, the Game Boy, started it all. And that's a lot for me to live up to. And what I'm trying to do is make my father proud. All right? I'm trying to make him proud. That's why I play all of his games. All those DS games work on me. Every single one. And you know what I'm also trying to do? I'm trying to be out there for those collectible gamers, yo. Collectible gamers. You know how many versions of me there are? There's a lot. There's a lot. You got the 3DS. You got the 2DS. Okay? You got the 3DS XL. You got the 2DS XL. You got the new 3DS and the new 2DS. All right? Do you know what we even did? We even tried to improve on my perfection by adding another circle pad. And then we just built it right in with a circle nub. We have an objection from the PS Vita side.
I will allow it.
He says that it is not an actual thumbstick, but a thumb pad of sorts.
I'll allow it.
Oh, come on, man. Man, all you guys are all against me. Y'all against me just because I'm the OG.
I mean, to be honest, it's actually not a stick. It is a sensor. It's a nub.
Leave my nub alone, all right? It's sensitive.
That it is.
It is sensitive, all right? All right, now, I tell you guys what, all right? See, I'm the OG. You know what that stands for? Original Gamer. That's me.
Okay. Okay.
I'm for the original. Okay, I tell you what. Okay, see, everybody hating on me right now because I am a Nintendo product. You know what I have? The single best first-party games available on the handheld market today.
Okay. Elaborate.
All you gotta do is look at how many Zelda games are on one system. It's all you gotta do.
But a lot of those are remakes.
Hey, a lot of those are in the hands of people who have never played them in a new generation. Those came out 20 years ago. All those older kids, they all got kids now. And those kids are playing these games. Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Link Between Worlds. Look on the virtual memory. You got more. Virtual console.
Virtual memory? All right.
All you got to do is look on there. You got even more. There's a buttload of them. We even got Triforce Heroes. We don't want to talk about that. But it's there. All right? It's there. Look at New Super Mario Brothers. It's there. Look at Kirby. Even a Wii game is on my system. A Wii game. Can you believe that? Xenoblade Chronicles is on the new 3DS only. Because you can't play them on the other ones. Because they're not powerful enough.
Isn't that like the only game that utilizes the new hardware?
Look. I know what you're trying to do. But you ain't going to do me in like that. Because the new hardware also allows you to play Super Nintendo games. Ain't that something?
Yes, but you do not produce any other mentionable titles with this new hardware.
But Nintendo is totally dedicated to this system. Unlike these other guys, these Sonys. They don't care about their handheld anymore. They washed him out to sea. You know who cares about him? A select few gamers want to keep this system alive. That's it.
That'd be a couple million select few.
They're not making games anymore. I'll rest my case. Will PS Vita please take the stand? Well, you know, Your Honor, I just got a bone to pick with this Nintendo. See, I came out and I'm a successor to the PlayStation Portable that I got at GameStop one time. See, what the PS Vita is life. And Vita is my life. It plays all kinds of games. You don't need to have all these fancy reverse compatible stuff. Because you know what I can play? Digital PSP games, digital PS1 games, digital Vita games, digital minis, and physical Vita games. I even got a version of myself that hooks up to the TV so you can see that on a bigger screen. And it's compatible with most touch games because I do have a touchpad on both sides, my front and my rear. And it is used for more than one game, thank you very much, Mr. Announcer. Not just Tearaway, Uncharted Golden Abyss 2. So there.
Do you have any other games that utilize it?
It's also used for button placement when you're doing remote play, which I also have. You can play your PS4 on me if you're within the same distance and have a good compatible internet connection. And you could do some 3 stuff as well. PS3. But the thing is, I am your perfect PlayStation device. I can go anywhere with you. And there's a really, really great first-person shooter on this system. It's called Killzone. You ever play Killzone, Your Honor? Killzone's a good game, and it's a great example of what first-person shooters can be like on me.
How many other first-person shooters do you have?
Not that many, but this is the one that matters because you see, my parents became more focused on my younger brother, and they told me to go out there and become something, and they didn't give me all the tools, but I still made something of myself. Meanwhile, my younger brother's selling 80 million units.
That he did.
And I'm not, but damn it, there's a hardcore base for what I can provide you. And there's a great library of games.
I just want to ask, didn't your little brother commit multiple illegal acts?
I didn't see that on my screen. I'm
just saying, didn't he hack himself to be able to play every game?
Well, see, you're talking about my older brother, the PSP, not my younger brother, the PS4, who's way more successful than I am.
Well, technically, PSP is younger.
PSP is older because it came out in 2005.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry,
Your Honor. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to question your math skills in front of the jury and audience here. See, the thing is that the PS4 they put me out there like, you're gonna be great, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be great. And then the PS4 comes out, and they're like, our baby, and I'm like, but what about me? And it's a hard road out there, and I got to give it to the 3DS, man. You're a great system, but I think I can offer more. I think I'm underrated. I think I'm the underdog in this fight. I think I deserve to be the winner in this case, for sure, because when you look at our back catalogs between the 3DS, between the Vita, and you look at what you can play on both systems, okay, they have the entire regular DS library. That's a lot of games, a lot of great games. I got a lot of games too. Most of them are download, but I got a lot of them.
Question: How much does your memory cost?
I don't know what you're talking about, Your Honor. Excuse me, Mr. PS Vita. Please answer the question. All right, look. On top of favoring my little brother, he being Mr. I don't know who was in charge at that time. I'm just going to blame Shuhei Yoshida. They charged an arm and a leg for my memory cards. They weren't, I don't know what kind of memory cards, proprietary memory cards.
Yes.
Life cards, Vita cards, if you will. Cards for my life.
Yeah.
Which will cost you an arm and a leg is basically what they are. A lot cheaper now because nobody wants them.
Yeah.
But, I mean.
So you saying that your older brother had more to offer?
Well, he had a bad memory issue too until the end.
Till the end.
Because now
until that was one of his other illegal acts that he committed.
We're not here to judge my brother, Judge, Your Honor, sir. I'm just saying that between the PS1 digital library, what's there of the PSP library, and then, of course, if you...
So another question. Why didn't Sony put one of their best-selling PSP titles on their digital library for their Vita users?
I don't know which one you're talking about. I don't know, Your Honor.
Final Fantasy VII. You know which game I'm talking about.
That game's on my system with the PS1 Classic.
No. the one for the PSP.
Are you talking about Crisis Core?
I am, sir.
You making fun of my accent, sir?
Yes, I am.
Well, please refrain from that.
But
Well, I got an answer.
you got an answer.
It's
All
not
right.
Sony's fault. It's Square Enix.
Okay.
You know why? Because they're doo-doo heads who couldn't even be bothered to transpose their game into a digital format. And from what I understand, it could be a legal issue with music license rights when it comes...
Wow, that came out pretty rough.
when it comes to that game, Crisis Core, and a little game called Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleeps.
Yes.
Because there's certain songs and music in those games that they got rights for physical production, but maybe not for digital.
Okay. I don't know what digital is, but all right. Can you
leave
please
me alone, Your Honor. I'm
please
trying to make my case.
Please explain digital.
Digital is what we have. You go to the PS Store.
Yes.
And it's when you can download a game off the PS Store.
So digital.
It's what I said, digital.
Please continue.
I believe I have made my case, Your Honor.
Well,
Your Honor, permission to read testimonials from comments on this thread. We will hear from the audience.
I will allow it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Proceed.
Mr. Jeff Graffam says he prefers the 3DS. More games to select from. The 3D is incredible, especially on the new 3DS XL. And backwards compatible with older DS games. Those show as 2D. There's a comment that says, will the GBA games show up in 1D? Robert Stephen Digout prefers the 3DS due to its massive library. Danny Valentine loves the Vita more. It has more games that interest him more. It is also made playing FPS games on the go. The 3DS is a great system, but has nothing on it that really caught his eye like Vita did with Persona 4 Golden. Peter Walker says that the PS Vita fits nicely in the hand, analog sticks feel great, and the 1000 series has a fantastic OLED screen. Unlike the 3DS, the Vita has an unrestricted library of games, meaning they're all region-free. However, like everything that has DLC is region-locked due to the location of the store.
Correct.
Between, regions. You're able to stream the PS4 and PS3 to it, although that is somewhat limited. The downside is the proprietary memory cards, which is kind of expensive, although modders have illegal activity. We can't talk about that. 3DS, says Abernath Jenkins. Massive library, affordable, cheap memory, still supported by Nintendo, and he owns and loves both. And comparatively, thinks 3DS is the clear winner. Derek McNeil says the 3DS library is deep, even before the DS library is put into play, and the system is more comfortable. Young Jin Park says, I have both, but prefer the 3DS for the game design. Most 3DS games are designed for the small screen, whereas the Vita games seem to be designed for large screens, but just scale down and stuff gets really small with his 49-year-old eyes.
I can see that.
Robert McLaughlin says, better stuff on the 3DS and more of it. Backwards compatibility with the DS and better battery life and no proprietary memory. Terry London says he has both and both have his attention. I like to collect and play on both handhelds, but the 3DS has a huge library of unique games. But for example, the generic titles like the Lego games, I always choose Vita. The graphics are better here. The graphics matter here, excuse me. The Vita has surprisingly large, old-school type of dungeon crawler games, which he does not very fond of. Maze Man. 3DS, backwards compatibility, more classic games, memory cards are a hell of a lot cheaper, and Nintendo is still supporting it. But don't get me wrong, I also own a PS Vita. Sorry.
I would like to state that more backwards compatibility with older games would be a negative on that due to the fact that the Vita has almost the entire PS1 catalog at its disposal. That's my argument.
I would argue, Your Honor, that while there's a lot of shovelware on the DS, that it is physically backwards compatible. So you can go out and physically collect these games and pick and choose which games you want without having to pay a digital upcharge.
That is, I don't even know what to say to that. Just that is correct.
Well argued.
Well, yeah, I agree.
Finally, Ronald Arling feels like it's having to choose between like your favorite child. He really loves both systems. The 3DS got a very large library of games and a lot of great games. And it's of Zelda Valhalla. It got 8 Zelda titles from the eShop, 2 N64 remakes, and 2 original titles. That's just about half of the series, I guess. And the new 3DS XL has a nice size of screen. But the OLED Vita has an awesome screen and filled the gap for me regarding console with quality games on the go. Bought it long ago before the Switch arrived. Definitely a must-buy if you're into JRPGs and weird Japanese games. The niche games seem to arrive very frequently on the Vita and also in the West. That really does it for me, and it feels more special to own a Vita than it does a 3DS. Your Honor, that is all the testament statements from the crowd, and I would like to reveal the results of the overall poll.
Proceed.
With the votes of 55 to 53, the PS Vita wins the poll with 55 votes compared to the Nintendo 3DS's 53 votes. Seems to me, sir, Your Honor, that this is a very tough choice to be had in general.
I agree. Now, for my personal opinion on the matter, I believe that majority of the gamers that own both systems will agree that they are both phenomenal systems. Some of the best handhelds ever made. But so when we weigh the argument, the Vita is much more expensive due to the fact of the proprietary memory. You can't pick up a memory stick big enough for under $100, even now. As it has been discontinued, Sony has nothing else that they want to do with this system. It is very expensive still. 3DS has the best 3DS original JRPGs, period. We can name quite a few off the top of our heads. The DS backward physical library is a huge positive for all physical collectors like myself and you. But the ability to have all of the PS1 is one of my favorite systems. To have all that at my fingertips to play Final Fantasy VII on the go is a big deal. But one of Nintendo's negative downfalls is that they're always updating their hardware. So everything always seems out of date. The new 3DS is alright. The fact that it only has one game that utilizes this new hardware, excluding the virtual consoles, is upsetting. I believe that it could have been made much better. More games, more powerful games. I was hoping to see some Wii games transferred over there, maybe, didn't happen. But, personal opinion, I believe that the 3DS is a better system.
Is that your judgment, Your Honor?
That is my judgment.
Thank you. for joining this episode of The Gamers Court. Nintendo 3DS wins the battle between handhelds, 3DS versus PS Vita. Thank you all for coming here, and thank you and good luck. So that was interesting.
It was interesting. A lot of the times I didn't know what to say.
Well, we actually thought we were going to plan it out more than what we did. So we just kind of went with it, and it is a tough. Instantly when I first came up with it, I said it's going to be an easy one for us to decide.
It's not though.
Well, because I was like 3DS takes it instantly, and then once you start breaking it down, once I put the poll up, and you see how close it is, and yes, there are so many things you could knock against the Vita. But there's so many things that are positives to it as well.
Personal opinion, outside of the court, was that the Vita could have been phenomenal. It could have surpassed a lot of stuff. It could have surpassed the 3DS by miles. It was not supported enough.
Yes.
By Sony.
Yes.
If Sony would have put some stuff behind it, some capital behind this, one of the major issues of it is that Sony at that time was not doing well financially as a whole.
Well, they never really have been until the PS4 era.
Correct.
And I mean, like I said in court, Killzone. Like if you play it on,
it's great.
If you play it on the Vita, it's like I cannot believe this is on handheld.
Yes, it is
great.
But they didn't do anything else with it. It was like Killzone, and then they threw Black Ops on there, and you're like,
well, okay, but see, and that's another developer. That's not Sony, and that's them.
Right?
What are they doing? Dipping their toe in the water. How much money and how much resources are they putting towards that version of Black Ops, whatever? Black Ops Declassified, if that's what the name.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
but it is a subpar. I am a detractor of Call of Duty every year. I don't like it. It's not my bag, baby. You know,
it used to be mine, but
not for Brando. But what I'm saying, there is no excuse why Call of Duty, with as long as it's been around, with as many copies as it sells, to ever in any form be subpar.
Yes, I agree.
If you release a Call of Duty game with that, you slap that label on it, it better have what comes with that label. And that's quality shooter.
Yep.
Just because Brando doesn't like it doesn't mean that that's not what that should be. And that's not what that was. Killzone comes out. Dude, that's awesome. Call of Duty comes out.
It sucks.
And so from there, what does that do? It detracts from other people wanting to do anything. And that one guy is right. There's so many great RPGs. So many great, quirky, weird PS Vita Japanese games.
Yes.
Those collector's editions that are local disc replay. What are those? I don't know what those games are.
I don't either.
I don't even know how they play.
I know that they're big RPGs.
They're like these big box RPGs collectors, and they just got anime stuff all over them. That stuff is all over that system.
The biggest thing with me is that they made those JRPG games very... A lot of them that I see are very girlish or very... you look at it and you're like, what is this? Like, it doesn't catch your eye. Now, whenever 3DS said Bravely Default, I was on ship because I know what it is, because this was supposed to be Final Fantasy X, but we made PS2. So we didn't make it. So they scratched it. And then they come back and they're like, well, Nintendo said they want to do it, so let's just do it. We still have all the work that we did. Let's just throw it on the system and see what happens. Awesome. Awesome game. I love that game very much. And Octopath Traveler, literally, you take the combat, Bravely Default. That's what it is. It literally is almost Bravely Default, except for Bravely Default has a little more quirks where you can go 8 deep, but this one you can only go 4. But it has that you can save your turns, but you don't have to save them. You can still regularly do a normal attack as long as you don't use those battle points, is what they're called. You don't have to. You gain a battle point every turn. I love that system. I really like it. But Bravely Default, the story is just absolutely phenomenal. The fact that you play through it and most of the game, you don't know really what's going on other than I'm supposed to go through this, and then you complete it and you're like, okay, do it again. So you're doing the same thing over, and you're like, why in the hell am I doing this again and again and again? And then the small little detail that you would never pick up on, the little fairy's wings change for how many versions or realities of that world are left to destroy. And then you finally catch on at the end, and you stop it. But it's just, you play through it, and you're like, I don't understand. And the fairy's like, it's supposed to be your quote-unquote guide, which ends up being, spoiler alert, the bad person who's trying to completely destroy the world. All worlds. I love that story. The story is just great. The character building, all the structure, everything is just perfectly molded into a game. Persona is the only game that I know that I can personally say, because I played it, that has that feel, that mold to it on the Vita that I've played.
There is, on the Vita, they have 2 proprietary games on as Vita games, and that is Ys Memories of Celceta and Ys 8 are both on there, and they're both big, massive action RPGs, which are really well done stories.
But those are games that I personally cannot comment on because I've never played them.
Yes, exactly.
I do want to own them. Don't get me wrong, but I've got a lot of other things to play.
I still haven't bought Ys 8, so there's that. What I was going to say, though, is that guy said Zelda games, and I stopped thinking about it. I'm like, all right, so you think about the Zelda games on the DS, where you have Spirit Tracks, Phantom Hourglass.
Yep.
Okay. On the original DS, are there more Zelda games for the original DS than that?
I don't know off the top of my
okay.
head.
Well, okay. So then, I'm not too worried about it. So let's go with those 2.
I don't know. The only one I don't have is Spirit Tracks. So.
Okay, so then you have those 2. And then you have, for the Virtual Console, do you have the original and Link to the Past and maybe Zelda 2? And then the Game Boy, Link's Awakening, and probably Game Boy Color, Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages. And then you have N64.
Did they end up doing Minish Cap? Game Boy Advance?
I don't know if that's on there.
Because that's a big...
Sure.
I really enjoy that game.
But then you go to the 3DS games, the N64 games.
Yes.
Ocarina and Majora's, and then Link Between Worlds, and then Triforce Heroes.
I'm going to put my hand up.
Yeah.
Because I want to interject. I never had a 64. So I never played Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask. I played a little bit of it, but to the point where I'm like, not. I didn't like it because I didn't have full control over my character. But playing it on the Vita, the 3DS, mistake. Anyways, I enjoyed it, but there's just aspects of that I don't like, and that's just personal. A lot of people say that Ocarina of Time that's it. That is the Zelda game. Personally, it's always going to be Link to the Past for me. But playing it, the only thing I don't like is the time. I like to crawl slowly through things. I like to see every corner. Well, in Ocarina of Time, those that have played it, which is most gamers, you don't have that long. Even if you play the song backwards to slow down time, you still don't have enough time, unless you already know the maps, to really trudge through that dungeon. That, to me, is like when I have to replay something I've already done, I'm mad.
Yeah.
Very mad. Because I spent all that time. Now I have to go back and do it faster. That bothers me personally. Not saying that it's a bad game, because it's a fun game. I played the crap out of it. That just bothered me. Because I came to, I went through 6 or 7 of them. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing good. And then I get that one I don't really know very much about. And I have to redo it 4 times before I beat it. And I'm like, okay.
So there was one thing... So, we were talking about all the PS1 games that are on there, and it's not the entire library.
It's a large chunk.
It's a bunch of games, a bunch of great, awesome quality.
I would
games.
say it's over 400.
I don't know the exact number, but it's a lot. I mean, and also expensive games like Mega Man 2, Legends 2, and Adventures of Trombone. Misadventures of Trombone are on there, and those are expensive.
Yes, they are.
But there's one game on the Vita that you cannot download from the Vita store. That is Metal Gear Solid. VR missions you can play. Original Metal Gear Solid, you cannot download from the store.
I'm going to go ahead and look up.
But you can in Europe.
And to get it, you have to trick the system into thinking that you are a European.
Actually, that is one way, but I have found another way, and it works.
Oh, yep. I know
You have to plug it in to the PS3.
Yep.
Plug your Vita into the PS3, download the game onto your PS3. When you download a game on the PS3, it'll be bouncing there, and when you go to click on it, it'll say, it'll install on your system. But like, do the triangle or whatever the options button is, and then you can move it to another folder. Well, you can move it to the Vita. Copy it to the Vita. When it gets on your Vita, it'll install, and guess what you have? Metal Gear Solid on your Vita. That is a slight negative because it's like a little go around. It will play, but that's kind of Sony's fault because I guess there's a sort of security problem with that game download that they never bothered to fix. And that kind of goes back into showing us I think 3DS wins because of how much Nintendo cared to turn the ship around.
Yes.
And the Vita is the most underutilized piece of hardware to come out in a long time. You could say that the Wii U is underutilized, but to be fair, the Wii U was kind of underpowered from the get-go and released in a weird time. The Vita came out right when the 3DS was like had its back against the wall, coming up with it being too expensive, with it not having enough quality games. The Vita could have come out with this big 1-2 hit with great games that had a lot of great games on it.
Could have, yeah.
You got some great quality console experiences on there, like Killzone, like Uncharted. Great games like Rayman were on there. My wife played the crap out of that. That's on other systems too, but it plays great on the Vita, especially with the touch levels. And then you also have Tearaway was a great game, albeit short. And then, of course, you have great games that got both console and Vita releases. World of Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2 are on there, even though one is a download, just like the whole Switch debacle we talked about. But that is kind of how that's the nature of the beast sometimes. I actually, if you were to look at my Vita games versus my DS and 3DS games, I'm going to open up my Game Eye app really quick and go to my systems. And I'm going to go to DS. Or I'm not.
So I was way off.
Were you way off?
This is of August 28th. I don't know what year it is. It doesn't specify the year. I need to get closer to the mic. Hold on.
What are you looking up? The Sony?
Amount of PS1 classics available on the Vita straight.
Okay.
Not the workaround. And it looks like it's only... See, nobody has a real hard number. It's looking like 129. But that's not including the workaround because they have a list of workarounds where you can download them exactly how you're stating. Download them on your PS1 or your PS3 and then plug it in.
And then also
update.
there's like a lot more Japanese ones as well.
Is my PS3 on?
No, there's no light on like over there.
It looks like there's a light on for me. Oh, it's unplugged, but it should. I mean,
Well,
right there's the plug. Well, I don't know because that's where I was testing the other system. So who knows? But I can't get a hard number on the amount of PS1 classics available. They do have Legend of Mana.
Okay, so I have 16 regular DS games. And then we're going to go to 3DS and apply that. And I have 11 3DS games. I don't have a really big collection. So out of both of those, I have 27, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, 27. And then let's go to PlayStation Vita. I have 16 Vita games. So I have about 10 more DS/3DS games. And honestly, and I could buy more, but the Vita games are expensive.
They are.
I want to get Persona 4 Golden dancing all night. I would love to get the third Danganronpa. I would love to get Ys 8. I would love to get some more, but they're kind of expensive. And then the DS games, the games that I want are all probably kind of between $10 and $30. And then 3DS games are all kind of like $20 to $30 or $40, just depending on the title. So,
right.
I mean, I don't play the consoles that much. Like, I have a decent number of games that I found and that I want, and there's a few more. I want the Bravely Default and Bravely Second. I do have the Dragon Quests. I have every Dragon Quest game that has been released on DS and 3DS. Thank you very much. and I got Dragon Quest 4, 5, 6, 9, 8, 7. I know that's kind of weird, but
that's the way they do it.
Well, because 4, 5, and 6 were the remakes for the DS. 9 was the brand new one where you can create your own dude, and then 7 was a PS1 remake that they remade from the ground up, and then 8 was the PS2 port.
Right.
And I have them all. And that was a goal. And now the only one that I'm missing is Dragon Warrior 1 and 2 on the Game Boy Color, because I have Dragon Warrior 3 on the Game Boy Color. Once I have that, I will have all of the Dragon Warrior / Quest games on portable. Until Dragon Quest 11 comes out, which I'm going to get that on the Switch, which it'll be
portable.
So there you go. Thank you guys so much. What time is it?
7:50.
What time is it?
It's go time, bro.
It's go time, bro. Thank you guys so much for checking out this episode, the first ever episode of the Gamers Court. Hopefully it comes out all right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. hopefully you enjoyed us jammering back and forth and being goofy. And I hope you enjoyed this podcast wherever you're listening to it, because we're pretty much everywhere. We're like iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We're everywhere, pretty much. Anywhere you can go to, you can try and search us in and download it. You can even go to our website, GameAddictsPodcast.com, and we have a bunch of links over on the side or at the very bottom if you're on your phone. Or you can find links to our YouTube channel, and you go to our Instagram and our Twitter, where we're at Game Addicts Play on there, and as well as our Twitch channel, where we stream up some gameplay from time to time, and where this podcast will eventually be live streaming too, where you can watch us live and watch us be weird and awkward in person, which is always fun.
We always are.
But, of course, when we're on social media, I've been posting all of my Fave 5 picks, and what's that is, I'm picking some of my favorite 5 or 6 games for some of my consoles, and I've been posting them up on Instagram with some really good quality picks taken by my wife, when was very gracious of her to help me take those pictures, because I kind of pissed her off 5 minutes before we started doing it. She still helped me, so thank you so much, hon. I love you so much. Mike, thank you so much for coming back on today.
I'm always on.
I know you are. That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm saying thank you, because it really is. Doing this is a highlight of my week every week.
Yes.
Because we talk about games all the time anyway.
Right.
But to actually sit here, be goofy, have fun, record ourselves, have remorse about some of the things you say sometimes.
Yeah.
Because we're all kind of awkward and weird. But no, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for just checking us out and liking and subscribing and following and all that weird, awesome social media stuff that you guys do and interacting with us. That's awesome. Another big shout out to the Metal Jesus Rocks Facebook group that helped make this episode.
Thank you guys.
Definitely be posting this episode there on the today's the 1st, and I'm gonna run home and get this episode edited, and I'm actually gonna share it there before it's live. So if you're a part of that group, sometimes maybe that'll happen around the 1st of the month. If it falls on that time, I'm going to share the latest episode that we have there. And if it's like today, I have 24 hours as of 10 o'clock this morning to share it. This episode will be live by then, but I'm actually going to post it the moment it's edited and done. I'm going to share the link and put it there, so people will be able to get it a little early.
It's pretty awesome.
So with that being said, I've been Brando.
And I've been Mike.
We'll see you next week, guys. Have a good one. Game on. Later.